Morning, General Hospital fans. This video is for you. It's been a couple of days since the demise of Brando Corbin in Port Charles as we know it. And I have to tell you, I have been so blown away by the reaction from the fans. I had no idea that you guys cared so much about my character.
Welcome to my channel, Outspoken Samantha. If you are new here, welcome. I appreciate you clicking on the video to watch it, and since you're here, I would love it if you would help me to grow this channel and hit that subscribe button now. And to those of you that are returning, welcome back. I truly do appreciate your continued support on my channel, and I hope that you are subscribed as well. So before I get into the core of what it is that I want to talk about today, guys, drop it in the comments if you have a childhood memory of your mom watching soap operas, because I know that I do. And the one that comes to mind particularly for me is Days of Our Lives. And my mom did watch that a lot when I was a kid. So of course there were things that would come on the TV and she'd be like, close your eyes, don't watch that, because that was back in the day when we actually protected children from sexually explicit content. But I was still able to catch the gist of most of the storylines, and for some reason found it entertaining, because it was kind of like reading a novel but on TV, which I honestly think is the purpose of this kind of program. I do even remember some of the characters' names. I know there was like Marlena and Stefano and Hope and Bo and Sammy and Billy, and I do think that a lot of those characters are still on Days of Our Lives, but that's just a little blast from the past. I haven't watched a soap opera in like 20 years, and now even if I do catch a glimpse of one, I actually find them more funny than anything, because they're so dramatic and they're so over the top, and I still think that I'm surprised a lot of times when I'm reminded that they still exist. And unfortunately, a reminder did come this past week as the news broke that actor Johnny Wactor, that played in 164 episodes of General Hospital between 2020 and 2022, died during an attempted robbery of the catalytic converter from his vehicle. He and a female co-worker were leaving their jobs at a bar in Los Angeles around 3:25 a.m. on Saturday, May 25th, when the pair saw three men who they at first believed to be attempting to tow his car.
Johnny Wactor died heroically saving the life of a co-worker when armed car thieves shot at them in Los Angeles. The General Hospital actor and his colleague were leaving work when he approached a group of men he believed to be trying to tow his car. The men were in fact a group of thieves trying to steal his catalytic converter. This was when one of them lifted a gun, and Johnny, using himself as a human shield, was fatally shot in the chest. The suspects are unidentified and remain at large.
Amazing that he shielded his co-worker from harm, but absolutely tragic that he lost his life. And some of his former co-stars did share some words about him. Kirsten Storm, who has played Maxie Jones on General Hospital since 2005, said, "I'm in a state of disbelief and complete sadness. I don't typically do posts like this, but Johnny was such a special person, and it feels important for me to put those words out there. To Johnny Wactor's mother and family, I am so sorry for your loss. I can't imagine what you must be feeling right now. You are in my thoughts and prayers. Johnny was one of those rare, real individuals that you almost never come across." Another former co-star named Sophia Matson wrote, "Johnny was the absolute best, so genuine, so caring, incredibly hardworking and humble, with a huge heart that spread so much kindness and joy. He always made sure everyone around him felt seen, heard, and loved. I admire the man he was so much, and I'm a better person for having known him." And I just wanted to read a couple of those because it is important to remember that every time something like this happens, this is a human being with family and friends that are going to feel the pain of this tragedy forever. And then as of today, the woman that was with him did speak out about what those final moments with him were. Her name is Anita Joy, and she referred to Wactor, 37, as her friend of 8 years. "Everything happened in an instant. I've come to describe it as a glass of water that gets tipped over and you're scrambling to grab it and save it from spilling out completely, but it just runs through your fingertips and is gone," Joy wrote. "We cautiously approached the men, questioning what they were doing, at first thinking the car was being towed. We were no threat, and Johnny kept his cool as he always did, simply stating that it was his car and for them to leave, hands open to his sides in peace. Johnny was between me and the man who shot him. As I heard the shot ring into the night, he forcefully tumbled back into my arms, and as I grabbed for him, I shouted, 'Honey, you okay?' And he only responded, 'Nope, shot.' We toppled onto the street, where I pushed my legs under him and tried to hold his body up while screaming for help and screaming at him to stay with me." Joy went on to say that a bouncer from the bar where they worked ran over and performed CPR, but the damage was done. Joy added that she finds solace in the fact that she was with him and that Wactor did not die alone, but added that she remains heartbroken and so very angry. Needless to say, this is just really, really sad, and it's so senseless. And it's even more hard to grasp when there is so much of this that could be prevented, but is intentionally being allowed to happen. Because stuff like this is an hourly, if not a minute-by-minute occurrence in every one of these Democrat-run cities right now. But unfortunately, it's not until it happens to someone that is more well-known that these issues get the attention they deserve, even though this should be a topic of conversation for everyone at all times. But obviously, if the skyrocketing crime were to get the attention that it should be getting, then it would tune more people into the fact that these Democrat-run cities have this problem in common, that due to their pro-crime and pro-drug policies, all of their cities have become absolute dumps. They do everything they can to try and keep as much attention off of this issue as possible in hopes that people won't realize just how much the people that they voted for are allowing this to happen by intentionally putting policies into place that minimize consequences for crime and policies that allow repeat offenders back onto the street to keep doing this, and how much innocent people are suffering as a direct result of their callous, soulless abdication of responsibility to serve and protect law-abiding citizens. They hate stories like this more than anyone because it's easy to sweep under the rug when it's just a nameless human being that aren't familiar to anybody but their immediate family. But when it's someone some level of prominence, then it brings into focus just how bad things are, and it's all because of them. And seeing what's happened to these cities still makes me sad, because I used to love going to Los Angeles, and a huge perk was that it was close to the beach and Disneyland. The beach is still my favorite place on earth, but Disney not so much. But the point being, I would never go to any of these cities anymore, ever. And it makes me sad because I would love to be able to take my kids to these areas and to see different parts of the country because I love to travel. But there are honestly very few areas that I would feel comfortable taking my family to right now. And Los Angeles is definitely one of those cities that got crossed off the list a long time ago. It's just one of the numerous Democrat-run cities that is completely unrecognizable. And what we'd get if we were to visit Los Angeles is nothing like the Los Angeles that I used to know. What this incident also shows us is how this rise in crime is affecting everyone, because I know I've talked a lot in the past about how the people that are most affected by these Democrat DAs decreasing punishment for criminals and letting these guys back on the street to terrorize innocent people, that would be the middle and the lower classes, because we don't live in those gated communities. We don't live behind security fences with guards monitoring who comes in and out. We don't have private security to follow us around like all of these celebrities who primarily vote Democrat do. They have the means to live in these safer neighborhoods with these increased measures of security that most of us do not have. So they encourage us all to vote left while they never really have to face the consequences of that vote. A rise in crime is something that is breaching the lines between all walks of life, and there is no one who has not or will not have to deal with this at some point, particularly if you do live in or near one of these cities. And just a reminder, because I don't think I can say this enough, it is all preventable. The people who are allowing this to happen could easily crack down on crime and increase penalties for what these people are getting away with, but they choose not to. So there was a particularly interesting response to this situation, and it came from Wactor's ex-fiancée Tessa Farrell, and her response demonstrates how there are so many people that I think are at this point incapable of understanding the root of so many problems, and that the level and delusion that so many Americans are living in right now stems far beyond the issue of gendered identity. People have just completely lost their grip on reality, and it's just astonishing. So let's have a listen to about 60 seconds of her response.
It's not okay. This can't keep happening. So many lives are being lost, and just us not being smart. We have to be smarter as a community. And guys, even if you're watching this, we have to stop being so mean to each other. Like, I saw some of the comments yesterday, and it's like, guys, let's love each other. Let's not steal, you know? It's so sad that crime in LA had to do this, and I'm hoping that change some legislation to prevent this from happening. These criminals can't keep being on the street, and they can't keep being sent back and have no repercussions for their actions. You know, if the person who did this, if you're watching, I'm sorry, but you shot the wrong guy. You you could get a real job. Like, I know the job market's hard, but we're all in it together. You don't have to steal. Especially take a life over it. Like, human life is disregarded too easy, guys. We gotta make some changes as a community. We gotta support each other and come together. Maybe that's what Johnny's gift is for us. Maybe he's gifting that to all of us.
I'm sorry, is she auditioning for something? Did she write Katie Britt's speech? She starts out strong in about the first 10 seconds, saying that this is not okay, that this can't keep happening, and that too many lives are being lost, and that is something that we can definitely all agree on. We would love to see this stop. I want people to be able to walk to and from their vehicles without it being a risk to their lives, because it's not okay. And you know how we do that? We crack down on crime. If you commit a crime, you end up behind bars, and the bail needs to be significant. We make people think twice about committing crime with the knowledge that if they do something stupid, they're not going to get away with it, because consequences are an amazing deterrent. Because usually we see crime go down, the more consequences go up. But you don't even have to look at crime to understand how effective consequences are. We use consequences in parenting. We use it in our homes. We use it in our workplaces. We used to use it in our schools, but right now teachers' hands are being tied, and we're seeing so many public schools become more dangerous because the worst students are making life miserable for everyone, kind of like the criminals on the streets are, for the same reasons. Consequences make sense to anyone with two brain cells to rub together, but this gal's solution proves that she might not have that advantage, because her solution apparently is just to get online and sob, though I don't see any real tears here. But she's saying we have to stop being so mean to each other. We need to love each other. Let's just not steal. Like, ma'am, are you trying to scold a toddler after stealing a snack? Or are you talking to a homicidal maniac who just shot a man in cold blood after trying to steal a piece of his car? I didn't realize that the answer to solving crime was just to tell people to stop being meanies and just to plead with them to not take things that aren't theirs. Like, why do we need law enforcement at all if we could just tell the bad guys out there murdering people to just be nice? And then she's telling them, just get a real job. That I know the job market is hard, but we're all in this together. Yeah, I'm sure these guys are going around stealing car parts and killing people because they didn't score the job after an interview at Office Depot, so they just resorted to plan B. She introduces this idea of making changes as a community like it's this novel idea, but ma'am, I don't know how to tell you this because you seem really new to this conversation. We have been saying this for a while, but the people that are making the laws and making the changes are changing things so that more of this stuff is happening. Guys, I really do wish this was a meme or satire, but it is 100% real. And I know that she is sad and heartbroken over the death of her friend or her ex-fiancé, but this is just one more example of a woman crying on the internet that makes women look more stupid and disconnected and out of touch and entirely performative. What this woman actually brings to mind is during the 2020 riots when people said that we needed more social workers instead of police officers, because apparently sending someone to talk things out with a person who has no problem murdering someone else is the thing that's going to stop them. This woman is the embodiment of that idea. And apparently Johnny Wactor's family didn't like her response either, because they asked her to stop using his name for publicity. In this article it says Johnny Wactor's mother doesn't want his ex-fiancée Tessa Farrell to speak out about his murder following her emotional plea, claiming the pair hadn't spoken in years. Now the actor's mother Scarlett has given her take on Farrell's video, telling TMZ that her son's former lover is just clout chasing. Scarlett added that Farrell had not stayed in touch with her son for at least 2 to 3 years before his tragic death. She says the rest of the family has not maintained contact with Farrell either. So yeah, that didn't go well for her on any level. But guys, I just want to say I am truly sorry that this happened. I'm sorry for every innocent victim who has needlessly lost their lives to this surge in violent crime. But if living with the consequences of how you vote, particularly in this way, does not turn that light bulb on that voting has consequences, I don't know what to tell you. So I would love to hear all of your thoughts on this in the comments below. Please be sure to hit that like button. It does help me. Make sure that you are subscribed. I would love your support on this channel. Keep it real, guys, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.